Hallelujah! How's it going, guys? My name is Blessious, and I hope you're having a freaking amazing one. Yesterday, Friday, Anthem was launched on PC and also Xbox One with Origin Access Premier and Origin Access. It gets a little confusing with everything, yes, but I have access to the full game. And I wanted to give you my honest comparison and my honest thoughts, and it's not a review, but my honest day one review of Anthem. And I put 16 hours in. I was playing the heck out of Colossus, and I wanted to start off with a few things about the game. It was a smooth launch. It took me about like 30 minutes to get in with the rolling start, but I was never kicked from it. There were some bugs, and we're gonna start this thing off with bugs because it's the one thing that I get asked a lot. How were the bugs? There were some bugs in the demo that people were worried about. In all honesty, I had 4 total bugs, and 2 of them were my fault. One bug I had where was just because there are the most confusing thing for me was the loading screens. Loading screens were a bit long at times, but I think that might be because like I had a friend messing with like his hard drive, and then I was like, what's wrong with these loading screens? And I start messing with my hard drive, pulling off World of Warcraft to put on my actual hard drive so I can have enough room to put Anthem onto my solid state drive, and that caused a bug for us where we had 2 people that had solid state drives that loaded into an area, and we got spawned into a buggy thing just because literally it took a while because our hard drives were just chugging all this data. So those were some bugs. One bug that I had was I got frozen by an enemy, and I was in a Colossus, and we were playing a hard difficulty, so I was literally spazzing. I was like scraping to get unfrozen, and I got sent flying. There was one bug, and the last bug was in a mission where it's more towards like mid-game, and I had to fly to the Strider, one of those AT-AT things, and I was with a bunch of randoms, and it just wouldn't trigger. And then I just started running back to where I was, and all of a sudden it ended. But it was nice, like maybe 3 minutes of confusion of us just standing on the thing where it says like you need to go. Over that, no real bugs, so there is that. One of the smoothest launches that I've seen at launch. The worst one was definitely Destiny 1 Rise of Iron. Literally it took like 4 hours for that thing to launch, and everyone got kicked with platypus errors. Was it platypus, or it was some kind of error? The next up is the grind. The game is a grind. If you like a game like Borderlands, if you get like a game like Destiny with PvE, if you like World of Warcraft's PvE or Diablo, you will love this. If you're a guy that likes Destiny because of PvP, you won't like this. And I gotta be honest with you. The reason why is there's absolutely no PvP in this, and the whole point of this thing is to be kind of like an over-the-shoulder shooter-looter that is basically Diablo. Like the loot system is incredibly much like Diablo, where like you'll get a gun that'll say, hey, this thing will give 15% speed to your LB or Q ability, and then, you know, give you 5% luck. It's very much like D&D meets a shooter looter. Like the details that you can get are crazy about that. And there are also abilities that you can get later on in the game that might give your Colossus ability that if you get a bunch of multi-kills, you can get, instead of 3 super shots, you can get 6. There is a bit of a grind, and there's a story mission. This is not a spoiler, truthfully, and you need to know this, actually. There's a mandatory story mission where you have to go to these 4 tombs, and each tomb has this thing on a wall that you have to do 4 challenges, and one, for example, is 50 melee kills, 50 ultimate kills, yada yada. And another one might be like open 25 chests, collect 10 collectibles, collect blank blank blank, and another one, like, they kind of get a little bit more challenging. And I saw a lot of people complain about this on Twitter, and I had a group DM on Twitter with a lot of friends that make content that are complaining about it. But the thing is that's honest about that is it's no different than a World of Warcraft quest. Second, literally that quest is tracked as soon as you activate that quest. So even though you go to the door, you'll probably see it halfway completed. And I think what the quest was supposed to do is a halt, so you would actually go and have to do the side quests, because there's 3 factions that you can do. You can go to Matthias, you can go to an awkward chick, you can go to a big burly beard dude, and you would do their side quests, and they have 2 or 3 quests each, and by the time you're done with that, you're literally done with that quest to get through the doors that access further into the game. It's not so bad. The whole game is about a grind, and literally you're leveling up through it. I'm not really complaining about that quest, but I know a lot of people do. So this is honest feedback about that. Next up, I would say, is my overall impression with the story. So I'm 16 hours in, maybe 17, and the story, when I played the demo, I was like, I'm not really attached to any of these characters. And when I started the game, you know, the opening is really cool. And then when I got through, there's some characters I didn't really care about, but then I got a little hooked onto one part, and then there was one thing that just happened that threw a wrench, and literally it was like a what moment. So I'm actually very intrigued to see where that goes. No spoiler, but it is one of those moments, and I commend the story for actually doing that. I am nowhere close on beating the game. 16 hours in, I'm level 22, and literally, I don't think I'm close to beating the game at all. So there is that. There's definitely more story in that time than I would say Destiny 1 vanilla. Maybe Destiny 1 in that amount of time. And there's cutscenes, there's in-game dialogue, and there is also choices that you can give to NPCs, though I don't know if it really goes anywhere. You can just make your character a smartass or someone that's nice. That's really it. But I don't think those actions go anywhere. You can't romance anyone. You know, I'm a guy that only played Mass Effect 2 from BioWare and also their last Dragon Age. So I don't know if it's anywhere to that level of storytelling. I know you can't romance, but coming from a guy that plays shooter looters, there's more story than a lot that I played. So there is that. Next up is Endgame, and Endgame is a question that I do not have an answer for yet. Is there a bunch of grindy quests? Yes. Is there contracts? Yes, and I did a bunch of them. But a lot of people say, quote, there's 3 strongholds, and that's it. So I did have the chance to go and be at a bunch of BioWare events for this. I believe my NDA lifted, and the last thing that I was told is there's some stuff that they can't talk about just because of corporate stuff and legalities, and I get that. But the thing is like right now, yes, there are 3 strongholds. We have no idea what's coming down the line, but we do know that cataclysms are coming, and cataclysms are the Shaper Storms that you saw in like the EA or E3 launch trailer back 2 years ago, or reveal trailer. And the theory that a lot of friends of mine have is like it's like a rift from Diablo, or like a Diablo loot run, where it takes this area in the world and it just spawns these harder and harder and harder and harder and harder enemies that you go through and you have to kill. And if you, it depends on how far you can go. The harder the enemies, the better the loot drops, the cooler the stuff, and literally you would come out and kind of be victorious. It's basically just a loot run. And that would be this game's form of like a raid, but they don't use the word raid. But that is the theory. There's no confirmation to that. We don't know yet. And the final thing I will say from my day one experience, should you buy? I would wait for honest reviews from your favorite sources, whether that's IGN, Kotaku, etc., or your favorite YouTubers like Angry Joe. I would definitely wait on that. It is a grindy game. And if you don't like grindy games, like I said, there is a moment where you have to go and like do all those extra things, but literally you're just doing side quests to get it. But still, I have to repeat myself. The whole point of this game is a grind. Like, it is literally Diablo the shooter looter. So I gotta be honest with you like that. There's no PvP in this, but if any of that has your attention at all, the thing that I would suggest to do is, for those that have interest in it, if you have PC or if you have Xbox One, you can get Origin Access. It's like $5, I think. You can try the first 10 hours and see if you really liked it. Your progress carries over. I would suggest that. If you're on PC and you really liked it, you can plop down the extra 10 to get Origin Access Premier, and you get the full thing for a month. And if you don't like it, you can cancel it, which is like renting 2 games from Blockbuster in the 90s. because I've rented a lot of games from Blockbuster in the 90s. For PS4, I am sorry. You really have to just buy the game for $60 at launch. I would really just watch your favorite content creators. And here is my expert guide to really forming an opinion about this from someone that got a lot of hands-on time. I will be honest with you. January, I was contracted to make a couple guides for Anthem. So BioWare took me down to Austin, Texas, and it was me, Eric's, M-Tash, and a couple others, and we had 3 whole days of just like 12 plus hours recording footage and getting in game and getting end game loot. And while we didn't do cataclysms or anything like that, we did 2 of the 3 strongholds a lot on like the hardest difficulties. I would highly recommend on a YouTube side. M-Tash knows the game more than anyone I know, especially at an end game level. Really suggest that. Eric's, he understands the game like a crazy amount of time. Also, I would suggest Rick Hackis and Dado on YouTube, and Dado also on Twitch. They are incredibly smart dudes, and if you want optimal, definitely go with Dado. If you want people that are just there to really give a super pointy opinion about endgame, of course, I would recommend your Bromans and Gathalions. They were never in any of those programs ever. If you're worried about shillery, like how I see, but like literally, like I think if they hate the game, they're gonna just straight up just say they hate the game instead of just not play it. I would suggest that. Literally, there's going to be, all those guys I would keep an eye on, because they are going to eat that end game like crazy, and they're going to give you the most honest feedback in a couple days about that end game. Anthem is a world that has a bunch of acts that follow it. They said they have the sheets. I don't know how the end game is going to be. That's the thing that I'm most worried about. Overall, I really enjoyed myself so far. I give it a 7.69. I would give it a higher score. Just don't know about end game, about that just yet. Will I continue playing it? Will I make content about it? Yes, I enjoy myself while playing it. The only time I didn't enjoy playing it was when I was moving files off of my solid state drive so I can move it over for a better experience. I will say, if you have access to solid state drive, you got to put that game on it. It makes the game way more enjoyable. There are load screens that can make the start of the game a little bit annoying, but again, I was moving files, so the load screens were twice as worse for me. That is all honesty about that. So yeah, that is my honest opinions. Go follow those guys if you want to know the deep truth end of the end game. Myself, you can follow me as well on Twitch and right here just by hitting that subscribe button here. You can follow me on Twitch, where I'll be grinding that stuff as well, but I won't be doing it with the expertise of the groups that they have, because I'm more of a solo player that might not have access to all those MLG friends that they have, though I will be grinding that stuff as well. So yeah, twitch.tv/Blessious. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have a freaking amazing one. If you are grinding Anthem, I want your honest opinion. If you have questions about Anthem, I want your honest questions down below. And yeah, go out, have the freaking best day of your lives. And yeah, just know you're loved, okay? I know it's cheesy. I know it's super cheesy, but yeah, you're loved, dude. Peace.